case studies and how to approach them in the manner of an Ericksonian hypnotist, which is a very wide-ranging set of communication, interpersonal, and imaginative approaches to persons. And I was mildly joking before, but serious as well, when Marion said that I asked her about her practice. She said, well, I work with anxiety, depression, so on. I said, oh, scared people and sad people. Because I would like us all to think in human terms, not scientific terms about our work, just because it gives the therapist more breathing room. Everyone who comes to see you is going to tell you that they're there for anxiety or depression, or somebody else's anxiety or depression, or their states of pain, their bad habits. You know, there's a limited kind of DSM announcement or presentation that people give, and I will cheerfully undercut that presentation whenever I can. But with the caveat that you can always work, if you want exactly that way. They can say they're anxious, you can say I'm going to apply hypnotic techniques to manage, reduce, defer, dissipate, or dissolve your anxiety. Just know that I will treat the term anxiety and the term depression as metaphorical, not as scientific terms. So I wanted to say a few words about thinking like a hypnotist to situate our discussion of particular persons and their problems and how to approach them. Hypnosis could be thought of as a kind of omnimimetic state, that is, a state of interpersonal relations, or relations with oneself, as in the hypnosis you're familiar with, the invited trance within yourself, by yourself. But it's essentially interpersonal, and in that state of conversation or interchange or request or invitation, one can experience the whole range of experiencing that the body or the brain are capable of. So, pain and the reduction of pain, unease and comfort, contemplative states where one looks back or forward in life, or within oneself for emotional or historical kinds of glimpses. So in the sense that hypnosis is omnimimetic, it or the relationship in therapy can do anything that can be done naturally, but can not do anything that is not doable. So you cannot grow a new leg like a newt if it's been chopped off, and so on. In that sense, hypnosis is like dreaming. It's so much like dreaming that you might as well use dream approaches as something else when you do hypnosis. It's a dreamy storytelling kind of exchange with another person, in which the other person has a very free, moving set of experiences, such that when you do A, the other person will experience, anything from 17 to Z. It doesn't matter. You cannot program a hypnotic response. You shouldn't try, because it wastes everybody's time, and it will invite the other thing we were talking about beforehand, resistance. If I am stubbornly interested in Powell being a certain way through hypnosis, or just through general suasion or conversation, he will probably get his back up and I'll be able to say he's resistant. If I'm not particularly interested in a particular outcome, he's not going to be particularly resistant. And thus there's a whole range of permissive inductions in hypnosis of the form, well, your hand may get light or heavy, or just stay where it is, or do nothing at all, that kind of thing. So whatever is done can be approved of. As with children, or at least young children, it's not a bad approach to be pleased, welcoming, interested, curious, and delighted by whatever they do, whether it's rolling over, smiling, or even sometimes throwing something or dribbling food. Stylistically, hypnotic inductions are chameleon-like. They're meant in the Erickson fashion to take the coloration of the person being spoken with, rather than, as Erickson would have it, to impose a Procrustean bed on the person you're working with and conform her to your idea of a good time. To stretch and pull and poke and say no, 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 and all that. To indicate part of the range of hypnotic induction, you could throw them in buckets, like inductions that focus attention. So, for example, you could, when you were studying for your exam, have been distractible and used hypnosis to focus on the dreary pages that you were studying, ignoring the crying baby or your worries or something else. You could focus in as a means of trance. And the typical trances you're familiar with, or that everyone is, you know, you look intently at this object until your eyes close, are focus trances. The other great bucket is dissociative trances. So for pain states and even worries and so on, where you operate alongside the worry or the pain, or the fear or the doubt. Very, very valuable and very natural to states of trauma. In this chameleon-like lack of specificity in hypnotic inductions, you can style hypnosis any way you'd like. So hypnosis, for example, could be a reward for somebody. You could say something like, well, you know, as long as you're drinking so much, I won't be able to hypnotize you. You'll have to, you know, get down to a drink every other day, and then I can do it. Or hypnosis could be a punishment. You say, you know, if you don't have that awful conversation with your boss, I'm going to have to hypnotize you and get you to do it.